I mean, I can hear you.
Hello, everybody. Just making sure, just if you can all help us out, just make sure you're on mute if you're not asking a question. Just it'll help us because we've got a speaker here in front of us to be able to make sure we can hear the questions and everything. So if you guys can do that for us, it'd be greatly appreciated. What happened? What's wrong? Got it.
That's just being, feeling sorry for you. I don't want to do nothing with them ever again. I don't want to do nothing with them ever again. Holidays, everything's just going to be all right. And occasionally.
Hey, Chris, can you mute, please?
Or something.
You have to do that right now.
I'm trying to fix something.
Okay, just remind them. Yeah.
All right, guys. Marco Wilson is coming up first. Just a reminder to please stay muted. All right, we will start off with Matthews.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, we're good. I can hear you.
Thank you. Marco, here is Matheus Ornelas from Time Out Podcast here in Brazil. Congratulations for going for the NFL draft. A lot of scouts talk about how versatile you are and how you can improve that for the next level. So how do you think that you can work on it for prove then that's real what you can do? And you think that the versatility is your main quality for the NFL?
Well, just coming in as a freshman, I always been practicing inside corner, outside corner. I feel like that's just transitioned into all my years at Florida, being able to do both. And I feel like that's a really strong quality that not many guys can do. So I feel like that gives me an upper hand. I'm very grateful for that ability to do that.
All right, we'll go to Alex Fleming.
Alex Fleming, Florida Sun. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. How you doing?
Not too bad. You face some top-notch competition in the SEC, but now you're about to step into the realm of the NFL. Two-part question. Is there any wide receiver currently in NFL that rattles you or bothers you? And two, why do you think people are sleeping on you and your skill set?
I mean, I feel like I would have to be biased by actually covering these guys, but I know there's a lot of great competition out there, a lot of great wide receivers in the NFL. I'm looking forward to covering. And I feel like, I feel like they just, don't really understand how good of a player I actually am. They don't really spend the time to actually study tape and look rep by rep and looking at what I actually do. And I'm not worried about that. I know the type of player I am. I know what I can do, so it doesn't bother me at all.
All right, Augustine.
Hi, Marco. Agustin Esposito from No Huddle in Argentina. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Where do you think you can improve looking forward the next level? It's a month away now.
I feel like I can improve really just zone coverages and ball skills. Something I've been practicing for the past year, but I'm definitely not where I want to be with these things. I feel like everything just takes practice. So these are things I'm going to continue to work on, things I know I can improve. And I'm looking to improve these things the most.
All right, Josh Allen.
Hey, Marco, how are we doing today?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Just kind of want to ask you, who have you kind of leaned on for advice or any tips going through the pre-draft and pro day process? Any current players in the NFL or former teammates? And then have you had any discussions with the Buccaneers as of yet?
I lean on usually my brother because, as you guys know, he's been through this process before me. So I feel like just asking him anything I need to know, I'm gonna understand it because he's done all this before me. Man, I'm very blessed to have a bigger brother who's done all this before me because I'm close to him. So I could just hit him up anytime I need to, just to know anything that I'm worried about or anything I need to know before going into the certain process. I also had a talk with the Buccaneers. Probably, I think 2 days ago it was. I also done some medical visits with them via Zoom.
Was it area scouts coaches?
I was a position coach, defensive back.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll go
Best
to
luck on your
Danilo.
journey.
Danilo.
Michael, how are you doing today? Danilo from Torcedores Brazil.
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm fine, man. So you had a great pro day and a great college career, but how do you think this combination will help you in in this draft? And have you already talked to some team scouts about today? And what's the feedback about it?
A lot of scouts think I performed well today, but as I know, this isn't where it ends. There's a lot of work to still be put in. I feel like today I really helped myself in the draft, but still, yeah, a lot of work to be put in. And I'm excited to get back to work after today.
All right, Alex Kozora.
Hey, Mark, I wanted to follow up. You said you talked to your brother about this process. Is there any specific feedback he's given you about what this process is like and what to expect?
He's really just telling me it can be challenging at times, and you can't expect everything to always go your way, and I understand that. So I don't come into any situation thinking it's just going to be a golden brick road. I understand there's going to be a lot of challenges. I'm ready to face those challenges. I've been through a lot of challenges in my life, so it's nothing new to me. And also, he just tries to say to stay true to yourself. Don't let anything around you affect who you are and take your happiness away. And I feel like that's the most important thing.
All right, anybody else for Marco? Awesome. Thanks, Marco. We're good to go.
All right, thank you, guys.
You need to go out, Uber. Guys, Stone Forsyth will be up here shortly.
And then I'm just gonna, once we're set and ready, I'm just gonna have you give them a thumbs up so Tommy knows we're ready. Go ahead, give a thumbs up.
All right, we'll start us off with Joshua Allen.
Hey, son, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Just wondering, throughout this whole process, the pro day, the pre-draft process, has there been anyone that you've kind of leaned on, former teammates, former players, that you've kind of picked their brain for advice? And through the process, have you had any conversations with the Buccaneers?
I mean, I've stayed in contact with my teammates, but kind of where I'm training at out in Arizona, AMDG Performance. I'm the only one that came in this class, so it's just a bunch of NFL guys. So I get to pick their brain, and they help me out. Some of those vet guys out there, so I've kind of leaned on them and kind of pick up things they do.
And any communication with the Buccaneers so far in the process?
Just their trainers, no scouts or kind of personnel.
Awesome. Thank you. Best of luck on your journey.
Thank you.
Alex, go ahead.
Hello.
Which Alex?
Alex Fleming, sorry.
Thank you. Alex Fleming, Florida Sun. Hey, Stoney, I'm curious about your hand technique. Have you been doing any boxing, taekwondo, martial arts? What have you done to prepare yourself for the next level, considering who you'll be going up against?
I've just kind of focusing on football. Just kind of everything I've been doing is kind of O-line focused and or O-line orientated. I haven't done any of the boxing or anything like that. Just kind of just a bunch of bad work, and we're just using my length to my advantage.
So footwork, boxing, footwork and your hand technique, you feel that you're prepared for the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I still got to polish up on things. I mean, it's only been 3 months of training. So kind of once I finish up here, I'll head back out and train until the draft. And then depending on OTAs and anything like that, I'll stay out there and train the whole time and get ready to play football.
All right, Jacob Infante.
Hey, Stone, appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us. Jacob Infante from Windy City Gridiron here. I want to talk a little bit about the advantages that your frame brings. I mean, obviously you're a big guy, even by offensive line standards. Can you talk a little bit about the advantages that your height brings and obviously the length that you have in your wingspan as well?
Kind of one of the biggest advantages that kind of brings me is just creating that distance and kind of using my length to my advantage. That's kind of one of the things we're working on now, kind of personally, is just kind of using my length, just even creating distance in my stance, and kind of just, I feel like I have a decent punch already, but it can always be worked on. But just keeping those guys kind of at the end of my reach, and use that to my advantage and keep them locked out and keep them off my pads.
Thank you.
All right, Alex Kozora.
Hey, Stone, thanks for talking with us. I have another question about your size. I'm sorry, you probably get a million questions about this, but have you always just been the biggest guy? I know your dad played football, but was he as big as you? Is that running the family? And then as a follow-up, have you talked to the Steelers? And if so, who have you spoken with?
He's 6'5". I mean, I always played center growing up from like 4th grade to sophomore year of high school, and then I kind of hit a growth spurt, and that's when they kicked me out of tackle. So kind of always been the biggest kid. Even here at Florida, me and Fred Johnson, we go back and forth who's the tallest. But definitely this past year or two, I've been the biggest guy, and I haven't talked to anybody with the Steelers yet.
Chrissy Freud.
Hey, Stone, Chrissy Freud, USA Today Sports Media Group. How would you, obviously playing alongside Kyle Trask, how would you describe him as a teammate, and what was it like down that final stretch of the season with him?
He's definitely a great teammate. We were friends outside of the building. We hung out every kind of weekend. We kind of early enrolled together. We're both those underdog guys, and kind of these past 2 years, our name's been called, and I feel like we both stepped up to the plate. But he's a great teammate, a great leader. It's been a good time with him the past 5 years.
All right, Matthias.
Thank you. Stone, Matheus Ornelas here from Time Out in Brazil. Congratulations for going for the NFL draft.
Thank you.
How do you think that playing the conference that you play prepare you for the NFL? And what do you think is your main quality going for the next level?
I think the SEC is kind of everything. Most of these defensive guys that I played this year will end up being in the league, and even probably, let's say, more than half the defense guys I played my junior year, they're in the league right now, like Derek Brown, Marlon Davis, kind of all those guys. Chase On from LSU. So I feel like we're playing NFL people just at younger ages. So I mean, it helps out a lot, and just kind of using my size to my advantage.
Nick Faribault.
Hey Stone, going back to your size, I mean, being 6'9", the saying is low man wins. How do you kind of overcome your size? Because obviously being 6'9" does put you at a natural, I guess, a natural disadvantage when it comes to pad level. So is it that length coming into play? How do you really overcome that concern?
Just focusing on the details, kind of breaking it down to the basics, and kind of getting back to that foundation, kind of building back up from the ground, and just kind of learning what works for me, and just using my length to as leverage points, and just pressing angles and holding angles. So there's definitely like a little learning curve, but I mean, you grow up kind of tall, and you just been playing it the past few years, so you just kind of learn what works for you.
All right, we'll go Augustine and then end with Kyle.
Hi, Stone. Agustin Esposito from No Huddle in Argentina. How are you?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. You finished your career with 40 games played. Is experience being a great part of your evaluation?
Yeah, you said just kind of experience kind of help me out.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely helped me out. Kind of as I got older into my career, just having that confidence and having that game film behind me, and learning what works for me. So just building upon that, and just using that game time experience, and just transitioning it each week helps out a lot.
All right, we'll close with Kyle.
Hey Stone, Kyle Fay here from the Brawl Network. I just want to talk about your versatility a little bit. I know that's been a big thing that some evaluators have been asking of the other offensive linemen this year. Obviously, you've taken snaps at a couple positions, and you talked about playing center when you were younger. Is that something they've asked of you, and what do you think you can bring on both potentially the left and the right side?
Kind of each team I've spoke with, they kind of always ask me which side I prefer. So I'm kind of just up in the air right now. I mean, I played more left tackle this past season, but then I played right tackle towards the end of the year. And each year before that, I flipped tackles. So, I mean, I'm comfortable at both. I work at both every day, stuff like that. So I'm just wherever they want me, I'll go play.
And just a quick follow up: have you spoken with the Jets at all in this process?
No, I haven't.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome, thanks, Stone.
Thank you.
All right, let's start us off with Augustine.
Hi, everyone. Agustin Esposito from Nojada in Argentina. My question is, how much different do you think this draft process has been because of the pandemic? And also, which are the teams that you have talked the most during this process?
I'm sorry, you said what are the things I've learned most during this process?
Which are the teams that you have talked the most? And also, how much different do you think this process has been because of the pandemic?
I think that everyone's done a great job trying to get this draft process the same as how it's been in the past years. I feel like this draft process is a little bit different just because teams can't, fly you out, or there's no indie or nothing like that. So therefore, I wouldn't say we're losing the experience, but we're not getting the full experience. But like I said, everyone's done an amazing job trying to bring that experience to us, whether that's sending us our NFL gear like they would do at the combine and stuff like that. But all along, it's an amazing experience. I'm soaking it all in, and I'm just excited to be able to be here.
Adam Mack.
Hey, Adam Mack, all about the birds. How you doing today?
How are you?
Doing good. Have you been in contact with the Eagles? And just a little follow-up on that. You had the opportunity to play with some really good pass catchers in Florida this year, and Kadarius Toney and obviously Kyle Pitts. What has it meant to have the opportunity to play alongside those guys?
Playing along with them is, something that I can't even describe. Kyle Pitts is one of the best tight end in the country, and Kadarius Toney is the best, I would say, shiftiest, most athletic person I've ever played with. And playing with those two players is kind of something you can't even describe. It brings you attention, it brings the whole team attention, and then when everybody gets that attention, they play better. So I feel like as a trio, me, Kyle Pitts, and KT, we all made each other better day in, day out, and I'm looking forward to see where they go, and blessings to them, and I hope they go as high as they do.
Nick Faribault.
Hey, Trevon. Nick Faribault, Pittsburgh Sports Now. You're a big body guy. Is there a type of, is there a guy that you really watch in the NFL that you at least try to take some things from and, improve your game on? And also, have you had any contact with the Steelers? And if so, how have those conversations been?
Yes, I have had contact with the Steelers. It's been going well. Like I said, the regular Zoom calls and stuff like that. But as far as receiver type that I look up to, one of my favorite receivers that I've looked up to growing up my whole life. Doesn't play now, but played years ago. Is Calvin Johnson. That plays now. Also watch DK and Chase Claypool. Just big body receivers who are can go up and make those big catches. And also have the body type like me. So those are kind of the receivers that I look up to and kind of mold my game after.
Just a quick follow-up, specifically on Chase Claypool. What do you kind of watch with him and what he does?
I just watch how fluent he is, how he gets in and out of his breaks, how he high points the ball, and how he runs routes different ways. Like I said, when he was at Notre Dame, I watched him, and just he's a phenomenal receiver. Kind of, like I said, mold my playing type to him and DK and Calvin Johnson. So hopefully I'll be able to be up there with them one day.
Thanks, Trevon.
All right, Kyle. I think you're muted, Kyle.
Sorry about that. Rookie mistake. Kyle Fay here from the Brawl Network. How you doing, Trayvon?
How are you?
I'm doing good. I wanted to ask about like all the professional guys who are already in the league, who you've, run with, played with, practiced with for a long time. Van Jefferson, Paris Campbell, Terry McLaurin, guys like that. Have you reached out to them for advice? Have they, been teaching you anything, been helping you in the process? And then also as a follow-up, have you talked to the Jets at all?
Yeah, I definitely have been getting advice from the players that I play with, specifically the ones that I play with at Florida. I've talked to Terry McLaurin probably once or twice, just a, hey, what's up? Hope you're doing good type thing. But mainly Tyree Cleveland, Van Jefferson, Freddie Swain, Josh Hammond, they were all out here actually today. And, just gave me advice to go out there and be me, have fun while I'm doing it, and just be yourself. Don't try to do too much and don't overthink it. So that was kind of the biggest key points that they gave me today. And, I went out there and I listened to what they said, just had fun, did what I did on a daily basis since 8 years old. And, I feel like I performed well. And to answer your first question, yeah, I have had contact with the Jets. Like I said, just regular Zoom calls and stuff like that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Matthias.
Thank you. Trevon, Matheus Ornelas from Time Out Brazil. How are you?
How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. We have in this class of receivers, we have so many guys that can do a bunch of things. We already talked about Tune is one of these guys. So how do you see yourself in this class, and what do you think that's the most different thing that you bring for the table that the teams can watch?
I feel like one of the biggest things I bring to the table is making those contested catches and making those 50-50 catches where the quarterback needs you to make a play. I feel like I do that very well. I've shown that a lot, against top tier corners. And I feel like that's what I do best. I bring to the table. I'm also a receiver that can go down there and doesn't mind blocking, does whatever, to make the team better. So when it comes to it, I feel like I'm an overall, a team player, but a receiver that's a dog and can go make those big catches.
Jacob Infante.
Hey, Trevon, Jacob Infante from Windy City Gridiron. Appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us today. You had the chance to play at the Senior Bowl a few months ago. Can you talk a little bit about that and the experience that gave you working with NFL coaches and getting to talk with teams and all that?
The experience was once in a lifetime. Like I said, I played with Van Jefferson and Tyree Cleveland, both of them who prior played at the Senior Bowl, and they both told me, go up there and treat it like, this is the biggest job interview of your life. And that's what I did. I went up there and just learned a lot of things. I learned that whatever you do, somebody's always watching, whether that's if you're going, talking to a janitor or if you're talking to a general manager, somebody's always watching how you communicate to people. And I also learned how NFL teams run their offense and how they run their practices and stuff like that. So just being able to get that firsthand before actually getting drafted to a team helps me out a lot because I kind of know what to expect when it comes time to, actually have an NFL practice.
Chrissy.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay. Chrissy for USA Today Sports Media Group. How would you describe Kyle Trask as a teammate? And is there anything that maybe you feel like people don't appreciate enough about him at this point?
As a teammate, he's one to none. He's a phenomenal teammate. You can't find any guys like him. Whether that's in the weight room, if that's in the meeting room, if that's on the field, he's a phenomenal player, and you can't really. He's just born with that. You can't kind of put that in somebody. He's born with the leadership. He leads everybody, and I'm proud to call him my teammate. And something that I feel like people don't appreciate enough about him is just his story. Growing up all through high school, all through college, he was kind of a backup. He kept his nose down. He waited his turn, didn't give up, and now he's here, considered one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. So my hat's off to him. I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him, and that's my brother for life.
Brandon Olsen.
Hey, Trevon.
How are
Brandon Olsen from Whole Nine Sports and Locked On Gators here. You mentioned that you, Kadarius Toney, Kyle Pitts are all moving on to the next level. Who would you say is next up for the Florida Gators at receiver?
All of them. We have a lot of great receivers: Jamarcus Weston, Jacob Copeland, Trent Whittemore, Xavier Henderson. The list could go on. Like I said, like Tyree said when he left, we didn't leave. The Gators are just going to reload. Now that me, KT, and Kyle Pitts are gone, they're not going to miss a beat. They're just going to reload, and I expect the receivers to have a very good year next year, and go out and dominate just like we did this past year.
Mike K.
Hey, Trayvon. What was it like playing? Oh, Mike K from NJ.com. What was it like playing for Brian Johnson? How is he as a communicator, and what's he like as a teacher?
Coach Johnson, he's a funny guy. That's my guy. As a coach, he's one of those coaches where he helps you out if you don't understand a concept or something like that. But he also knows how to make mismatches and put players in positions to where they're going to win. So, as a coach, as an all-around coach, I feel like he's top tier, and he's an amazing coach.
Hey, Trayvon, Dan Wolkenstein from Chargers Brawl. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How's your family? Everybody safe?
Everybody's good. Yes, sir.
All right, good. Hey, two-part question. I cover the Chargers out here in LA. Your kind of body type as a receiver, the Chargers have seen a lot of folks like that. Mike Williams, we've seen Vincent Jackson. We've seen all kinds of folks with that kind of big body type. Two-part question. One, how do you see yourself fitting in with the Chargers scheme at either like on the edge or in the slot? And then have you talked to the Chargers and what are your thoughts?
When it comes to fitting in, I definitely feel like I can fit in, like you said. Mike Williams, I've watched him, phenomenal receiver, big body receiver. And that's what I look at myself as. So I feel like I could definitely fit in, and if he fits in, and regardless, I feel like I can come in and play. I've talked to the Chargers once. Once. And that's about it. Yeah.
Okay, and then just to follow up for the Chargers, I know we have all kinds of different receivers. What do you think you bring to the NFL that maybe folks don't necessarily recognize as a strength of yours?
Something I feel like I could bring the NFL is, like I said, constantly making those big catches, constantly making those we call them big plays, those plays where 20-yard plus plays. I feel like I do that very consistently, and I feel like I can bring that to the NFL and do it efficiently.
Best of luck. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Trayvon.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Hey guys, just a heads up. We are going to try to get you Coach Mullen, Kadarius Toney, Kyle Pitts, and Kyle Trask. So we are going to kind of need to get this going a little bit. We're probably going to try to keep everything around 5 or 6 minutes.
Who's, are we in order? Or are you calling people out or? am I- Okay.
All right, everyone, we've got Florida Gators head coach Dan Mullen. Adam Mack, would you like to start us off?
Hey, Coach, how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Adam Mack, all about the birds. A narrative I keep hearing on Kyle Pitts is he's just another tight end. You've obviously mentored him and had the opportunity to develop him while he was here at Florida. What part of his game do you think helps him stick out to being one of the elite players in this draft?
You know, I think his ability to create matchup problems is, I think he's an elite wide receiver and I think he's an elite tight end. And when you're that's what causes the problem of what personnel grouping you're in, who you're going to match up against them. I was in a meeting there one day and a guy came up, he's like, hey, he's kind of like a unicorn. And the only way you can defend a unicorn is with another unicorn. So if you don't have a unicorn on defense, you got a problem. Because if you're going to put a corner on him, here's this 6'6", 245-pound guy that actually we can attach the line. So what are you doing with that corner when he comes in to be a blocker? Yeah, if you're going to match a linebacker on him and all of a sudden you have the linebacker, so, okay, our run fits are going to work right here. And then he goes and flexes out. And what do you do at that point? How are you rolling coverage to or away from him? And what does that mean to the other receivers that are on the field? Because now are you rolling coverage to your number one receiver or are you rolling coverage to the tight end? So the ability to move him around, he's not only is he a fun guy to coach on the field because he's got great character, great work ethic, all those things. He's fun to coach off the field because when you're in meeting rooms, you have this piece that you can move around and you can create a matchup advantage against most defenses you play.
Augustine.
Hi, Coach. Agustin Esposito from Nauja in Argentina. How are you?
Great.
My question is about, is there a player in this Gators draft class that is kind of getting the under the radar treatment for this April?
What was that? I missed that real quick.
Is there a player that you think is kind of under the radar for NFL teams?
Yeah, I think, there'll be a couple guys maybe that jump out. I know you have your big names like, Kyle, with Kyle Pitts and Kyle Trask and Kadarius Toney. I know Marco Wilson had a big today and Trey Grimes, but it'd be interesting to see like a Stone Forsythe, a big athletic tackle, the great size and athleticism, of who's going to give him the opportunity maybe and see what he can do when you look at his size and, his athleticism for a guy his size.
All right, Matthias.
Coach Dan, here is Matheus Ornelas from Timeout here in Brazil. A lot of the players that we talk today use a lot of the word versatility on the field. How do you think that, like, the way you coach or how Florida work with these players kind of help them to develop this kind of skills, to be a guy who's so versatile on the field?
Well, it's one of the things that, when we look for guys here, I'm looking for guys that are great athletes and we're going to coach and develop you into being that player. And when you have versatility, we run a very much pro style offense here. So when you have versatility, we want to try to create mismatches around the field, and when you have the ability to kind of have a skill set to play multiple positions, you're allowed to create those matchups, whether I can motion you into the backfield, like a Kadarius Toney. I can put you in the slot. I can put you on the outside. I can motion you into the backfield. Kyle Pitts, I can move you at tight end. I can flex you out a receiver. A Trey Grimes, who's a big receiver. So I have a size matchup. I can vertically take the top off the coverage, but I have the size to come in and block and set edges and being a great blocking receiver as well. Marco Wilson, I can play corner or nickel in the slot. The versatility allows you to dictate the matchups on the field. And so that's one of the things that we've done and running the system that we run is we want to try to dictate the matchups and create advantageous matchups for us on the field within our schemes. And having players with great versatility allow you to do that.
Here we go, Rob of NBC 10.
Hey Dan, question from up here in Philadelphia, your old stomping grounds back in the day. So Can you walk me through a little bit about the recruiting process of Kyle and like when you guys first got to know him and how much better he got? Because I remember covering him at Wood, and he obviously had all the physical gifts, but he seemed thin. I wasn't sure SEC if that was going to happen, and he's just blossomed. Can you walk us through that process?
Yeah, I think, when I got hired here, he was committed, and, I turn on a show. I'm like, holy cow, this guy's a dynamic player. I started watching, it was rushing the passer. I'm like, holy cow, he can rush the passer. He can do a lot. But I think, when you saw him and you got to go meet him, you saw, here's this guy that has this great skill set for us. And to me, when I look for guys, I'm looking for guys that I can create matchups against. And I saw, okay, here's this big guy. He might not look like your prototypical tight end just yet. But we can create the matchups with him. And actually what he did his first year, he came in here and he played mostly wide receiver as a true freshman for us, and just off the depth chart and what we were doing. And we did a lot of receiver work because, there's a lot of skill work that comes in to releases, route running, using your body control and how to catch the ball and to have wide receiver skills. So we kind of started there with him at receiver as we were developing him. And then as he put the weight on between his freshman and sophomore year and moved into being the most dominant tight end in college football, we took the time to let that go and let that grow and let that develop. So, it was one, I think when we first met him and talked to him and said, hey, you're a guy that's going to be a difference maker within our scheme. You just got to trust what we're going to do, and we're going to grow and we're going to develop you and help you become a better player. And, it's not going to happen just immediately overnight, but if you trust in the process, you're going to end up getting where you want to be. And he's done that.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go John Helmkamp and then close with Yuki Hawkins.
Hey, Coach, John Helmkamp, Deadspin. How are you doing today?
Great.
Good. Thanks for taking the time with us. I really appreciate it. You've got some very explosive playmakers that you've already been talking about a little bit here. Specifically with Kadarius Toney, can you tell me a little bit about how you think that he profiles at the next level in terms of what kind of role he can fit in?
Well, I think in one of those things, he's another guy that's going to be fun to coach at the next level because I still think his receiver skills are developing. He was a high school quarterback, came in, our first year here. We kind of used him as a get it to guy, just put the ball in his hands, do different things. And then his junior year, he was starting to develop as a receiver. He had some injuries he dealt with. We talked about him. Hey, and I talked to him, for your future, you have to become a wide receiver. And so I thought he really came into his own at the receiver position this year, of learning how to be a route runner. I still think he has a huge future in front of him that way. But he's a guy that you can move around. He can play inside in the slot. You can move him outside. To be honest with you, he's a powerful runner. You can put him in the backfield and run the ball. And he was a high school quarterback. So, he's a guy that you can kind of move to different spots. Move him around and put him in different positions, and try to create matchups if it affects the defense that way with him. And I think, and he's a guy that understands the game more and more and loves the game. And I think as he continues to grow as a receiver, so he becomes a threat at one position, but all of a sudden you could move him to other areas and he understands the game enough to play multiple spots.
Great. Thanks, Coach. Have a good day.
Yep.
All right, let's close with Yuki Hawkins.
Coach Mullen, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080 Buffalo. How's it going today, sir?
Great.
Now, you did a phenomenal job, man, since coming into Florida in 2018. A guy that's intriguing to me, TJ Slanton. How has he improved under your tutelage, and what does he bring to the table for an NFL team?
Well, I think, you look at a guy that he came in, he was trying to figure out the program when we first got here. Obviously he's got a lot of talent, a lot of potential, and he's trying to figure it out, and it kind of took him a year to figure out, what our demands on him were going to be, and how it was going to be, and what our expectations of him were. But he's a guy that kind of bought into it. And he really grew up. He really grew up this past year, to me. I think he really kind of bought into it coming in last year in the offseason. You just saw kind of a different guy. He took huge steps. and then, onto the field, took some huge steps this year. And so, with his potential, he's going to be a really intriguing prospect for people. Because if you look at him, the steps he took from his junior to senior year, he took a big step, and now you're asking that question, okay, I always hate that maybe we didn't get him to the level I expect him to be at, but he took this huge step between his junior and senior year. Can he take that step again between his senior year and rookie year? And then all of a sudden he takes him to maybe a step between his rookie and his second year. And now here's this guy that is living up to this potential of being a legitimate big time interior defensive lineman.
Coach, you're doing a phenomenal job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys all have a great day. Go Gators.
Thanks, Coach.
How we doing? Good? Good, yeah, just trying to...
All right, we got Kyle Pitts up now. Let's go to Adam Beasley first.
Kyle, thanks for taking the time. Down here in Miami, where there's a great deal of interest in you and where you might end up. I noticed Brian Flores was among the head coaches that were here today. First of all, how do you feel like you worked out for him? Did you get a chance to speak with him? And what were your thoughts about being the number 6 pick and going to Miami?
It's muted.
It's like we're muted, guys.
Yo. Can you hear me? All right. So I said, me and him did talk. We talked for a little bit. He said, well, we'll get back on the phone this week. I feel like I did pretty well performing. He said I was doing pretty well. So I PR'd on everything I was training for. So now I guess the next step is the draft, but just put my head down, getting back in football shape. I was in combine shape. So just getting ready for the next level.
John Shearer.
Hey, Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. So I had 2 questions. First of all, do you see yourself in the Jimmy Graham role when you enter the NFL? Not only a tight end spot, but going out into the slot and going out and going against corners one-on-one? And also, what do you think your biggest weakness is going into the draft that you have to work on? Thank you.
I would say kinda. Jimmy Graham, he was one of a kind, and it's a lot of tight ends like himself now, like Travis Kelce, George Kittle, where they use him and utilize him in very different positions. So I would say one of my weaknesses, I would say, is hand placement in the run game. Trying to keep my hands inside and making sure my heels stay in the ground in the run game as well.
Orlando Ledbetter.
Yeah, Kyle. Have you talked to the Falcons, and what would be your case to be the 4th player taken overall in the draft?
Yes, sir. I did talk to him on Zoom a couple of times, and I talked to him. I had a day, and
they're saying they have interest in me, and after today, we'll get back on another Zoom and try, they'll try and learn more about myself. So I feel like they're pretty interested in this. It will be a dream come true to be top 5 or the first non-quarterback to come off the board. So that's something that I look forward to on the draft.
Thank you.
Al Habib.
Hey, Kyle, two-part question for you. One, going back to the Dolphins, did you get into them? Did they ask you about how they might want to use your versatility since they have Mike Gesicki right now, whether they would put you at tight end and use you out wide? And secondly, if you could describe a little bit about that wingspan and your mindset when the ball is in the air and how much you think that maybe you kind of own that ball.
Actually, I didn't talk to them much about scheme yet, but they were telling me after today we'll get back on the phone and we'll start going through Zooms and things, and then we'll talk that part. But I would say with my wingspan, I feel like that gives me an advantage versus people, DBs who kind of have maybe shorter arms. So that gives me a chance to go up and make a great play.
Zach Berman.
Hey, Kyle.
Hello.
Hello?
Zach, your sound's out.
Hey, can you hear me now?
You're good now.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Switch from quarterback to tight end when you transfer to Wood, and also how were you as a quarterback when you went to Abington?
I didn't really catch you. It was kind of strange.
Hey, Zach, we'll come back to you if you can fix your sound, and we'll get back on you. All right, Dave Burkett.
Hey, Kyle, 2 things for you. First, can you sort of weigh in on the wide receiver, tight end debate? Some people say you're more wide receiver than tight end. I wonder if any NFL teams have sort of told you that they envision you as a receiver. And then second, what do you envision if you play with another really good tight end? I cover the Lions up here, so I'm thinking of you and TJ Hawkinson together. What sort of challenges does that present a defense?
First, no teams have mentioned me playing receiver, but they have mentioned me and utilizing me in different areas, but not just specifically receiver. And I think if I got to play with a great tight end in front of me, that it would be great for me being a young kid, learning from someone who's already been in a spotlight before at that position. So just learning from them and being able to take things from their game and apply it to my game, and even just being a professional, it's just that'd be something that'd be pretty cool.
What do you think, 2 tight ends? How do you think that challenges a defense, like what the Patriots did back in the day, like what you could do with a guy like a Hawkinson?
I think that would cause a lot of problems because you have two great tight ends who can run routes, block, so that kind of makes it hard for a defense to scheme it up. But, like I said, having those 2 tight ends that can do different things and line up in different areas, that's something that's kind of difficult for a defense to guard.
Thank you.
Go Joey Polizzi. Joey, your sound's messed up as well.
Hey, Kyle.
Hello.
All good now?
Yes.
Oh, hey. All right. So recently people have compared you to Darren Waller. Is that someone that you look up to? And then have you spoken to the Dallas Cowboys?
I have, watched a lot of Darren Waller film. As someone that me and him, I kind of feel like have a similar body structure and similar playing style. So that's someone that I like to take, parts of his game and add it to mine. And yes, sir, I have talked to the Cowboys.
All right, Derek Spallone.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Kyle. Derek Spallone here from Spallone Sports. Congratulations, man, on this next chapter. With all the energy and excitement surrounding you as you prepare for this next chapter, in what ways have you been able to immerse yourself in this moment to let it all sink in?
It's been kind of different, because you dream of this your whole life, and to see it in front of your eyes is different. So being able to have the opportunity to even step into the NFL or be a top 10 pick, it's not that many people that are fortunate enough to do that. So just me being in that position and God blessing me in that way, I feel like that's something special.
Absolutely. Wish you the best, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go Jonathan Alexander.
Hey, Kyle. I hope you're doing well, man. Question: I'm wondering if you've had conversations with the Panthers. I'm wondering how those have gone, and also your coach kind of described you as like a unicorn. Said the only way to defend one is with another one, and if you don't have one, that's a problem. I'm just curious your thoughts on that.
I talked to Coach Rule a couple of times, but he as well, like the other coaches said there, after the pro day, we're going to get back on the phone and get back on the Zoom and talk more ball. But I feel like, people call me unicorn, it's kind of a special nickname because unicorn, you don't find many of them. So being able to do other things that other tight ends can is kind of special.
Hey, Kyle, Dan Wilkinson with Chargers, bro. How you doing?
Good yourself.
I'm doing well. A lot of people talk about how impressive your skills and traits are. I think that's pretty well established at this point. Folks that look for talent in the NFL to kind of talk about ceilings and floors. So two-part question. One, have you talked to the Chargers? How do you see yourself fitting in with Justin Herbert and their offense? And then two, where do you see your floor and ceiling as a player in the NFL?
I have not spoke with the Chargers, but I would say my ceiling would be just, I feel like I have a lot to improve on, and I have a lot of talent that will translate. And I feel like it'll be some things that you can't do in college that you have to change in the NFL. So just to be able to change my game and be able to maneuver and make plays, that'll be something I look forward to.
Thanks so much.
All right, one more. We've got Zach Berman back on here.
Hey, Kyle, sorry about that. If you think back to high school, what made you want to switch from quarterback to tight end when you were at Wood? And how were you as a quarterback at Abington?
Actually, quarterback was never my flag, I guess you could say. I sucked at quarterback. I just was a running quarterback, a read option. Occasionally get a little naked. I wasn't throwing it, I was running it. But I feel like at Wood, Coach definitely gave me a great opportunity. And, I feel like around that time, Kittle, Kelsey, they were starting to make the position relevant. So, me and my dad talked about it, and he was saying, like, this is the time where, you like to score, you're physical. So, just hear me out and try and go to tight end. So that's when I first asked him, Coach Tim Sorber, and tell me, you'd be lucky to get a scholarship. So that's when I transferred to Wood. Coach Steve Dillon gave me a great opportunity, and that's when I started to get offers that summer, my 10th grade summer, from Coach Matt Rule. So Temple, and then I went on to Penn State. I started getting national exposure, and that was kind of something that I found a love for it around that time.
Awesome, thank you, Kyle. All right, everyone, thanks for your patience. We will have Kadarius Toney next. It's going to need to be brief. Got about 5 or 6 minutes with him. And I'm just going to go in order of these hands raised this time, so I apologize if we can't get there. All right, let's go with Joshua Allen. All right, we'll go to Matthias.
Sorry about that. Hey, Kadarius, just was wondering, who have you kind of leaned on throughout this process for tips and advice, and have you spoken with the Buccaneers?
Mainly throughout this process, I talk to everybody that's going through it with me. You know what I'm saying? So I know I can keep them motivated, keep me motivated, and Oh, I thought you wanted me. But yeah, just basically the people that's going through the same process. My coach out there at San Diego, like yeah, like EXO, like Coach Roy Holmes, like he a real mentor. I credit him for that.
And have you spoken with any position coaches with the Buccaneers?
Nah, not yet. I talked to a trainer.
Thank you so much.
Matthias?
Thank you. Kadarius, Matheus Ornelas from Time Out here in Brazil. Congratulations for going for the NFL draft.
Appreciate you.
All the offensive players, your head coach, everybody have the word versatility and in the speech. And you're a receiver who can do this kind of things on the offense. So how do you think that all you can do kind of like is a good stock draft for you in this class that we have so many good receivers?
Yeah, I feel like that's what really just set me apart from like probably those guys. You know what I'm saying? The way I'm able to move my body and stuff like that, like great plays, like when there's probably no play to be made.
Mike K.
Hey, Kadarius, Mike K from NJ.com. What type of impact did Brian Johnson have on you as a play caller and using your versatility?
I feel like he played a major part, just him putting me in position to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as from that standpoint, like he made sure like every time that I was, well, basically every time there was a play to be made, like I was probably the one on the receiving end of it, or Kyle Pitts, like somebody that's going, you know what I'm saying, make sure it's done.
All right, John Helmkamp.
Hey, Kadarius, how you doing today?
I'm good.
Hey, thanks for taking the time with us. I really appreciate it. You did great in your workouts, by the way. Good numbers. Coach was talking earlier about your background and transitioning from quarterback to the wide receiver position and how you still probably have more that you can even learn and grow as a wide receiver. What are some of those areas that you think that you can still polish up your wide receiver game?
I mean, just route running, you know what I'm saying? A lot of reps at it because I haven't been doing this for no long time to where I'm just perfect at it. Like I make sure I work on that all the time, make sure I work on a lot of different techniques. Billy Gonzalez taught me here at the University of Florida. Try to make sure I do a lot of different stuff. I try to watch a lot of like much films I can also too. You know what I'm saying? Because I try to like me being a step ahead, make me play even faster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Alex Fleming.
Kadarius Toney, Alex Fleming, Florida Sun. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
You were a standout this year, you and Kyle Pitts. Florida's offense wasn't the issue. Defense, that's a different story. On the next level, what can you contribute to an NFL team? And if you had the choice, what team would you like to play for?
I don't really have no ideal team in mind. Like whichever team take a chance on me, like that's what I'm, you know what I'm saying, put my heart into, just like I did this Florida program. But as far as like the playmaking ability, like I feel like it's pretty good. I mean, hold on, say the first part again, my bad. That first question.
All right, so you and Kyle Pitts were playmakers. The offense for the Florida Gators was not the issue. Can you explain your route tree, your catch radius? What makes you and unique in this draft?
What made me unique is probably my playmaking ability. Like I don't really see nobody really making the plays that I'm able to make. So.
All right, Pranav.
Kadarius, Dan Mullen is one of the best coaches in the nation. What was his influence on your game?
I feel like he really influenced it a lot by just, you know what I'm saying, putting me in position also. Like he, like day in, day out, like installs and stuff like that. Like he always made sure everybody was on point. Like, so it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's more of a just player. Like, you know what I'm saying? You going out there and making plays. Like the coach could only put you in position so much to where, you know what I'm saying, everything will look good, but you going out there and making plays was like, that's probably half of it.
Thank you.
And we'll close with Edward of SI.com.
Hey, Kadarius, I covered the Philadelphia Eagles, SI.com. Was Brian Johnson at the pro day today? Have you talked to the Eagles? And, you know, he was. And,
yeah, he was out here. Yeah, he was like, it was good to chop it up with him. But yeah, I had a meeting with him probably like a week ago. I was able to like talk through different stuff with them and, you know what I'm saying, show them the kind of player I am, like, and kind of person I am. So,
And how do you know Jalen Hurts at all from, when he was at Bama?
actually, my uncle knows him because they're like in the same frat or something like that, but I never really talked to him, stuff like that.
Would you like to play for somebody like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to play with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's handling their business like how they're supposed to.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kadarius. You're good to go.
Appreciate you.
All right, let's go start off with Joshua Allen.
Hey, Kyle, how are we doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. So I just want to ask, throughout this process, has there anyone that you've kind of leaned on, whether it be former teammates, current NFL quarterbacks, that kind of pick their brains on the process of the pro day and the pre-draft? And then have you had any communications with the Buccaneers during the pre-draft process?
So yeah, I'll answer your second question first. So I mean, the Bucks were out here, and I have had Zooms with them in the past, and I just, they talked to me a little bit today, but I've been in contact with, probably over the majority of teams in the NFL just throughout this whole process, and all the Zooms and things like that. So yeah, there's been a number of teams that have been in contact with me. And what was your first question again? I'm sorry.
Who have you kind of leaned on for advice throughout the process, whether it be former players, current players?
Right. Yeah, I've been out in California for roughly like 2.5, 3 months, working with 3D QB, and they work with a lot of older guys like, Carson Wentz and Jared Goff, and Andy Dalton, and guys like that. And they kind of take that knowledge from them and are able to apply it to our games, and just give us little nuggets for us to hold on to as we prepare to take this next step.
Any communications with Coach Christensen?
I'm sorry?
Coach Christensen, Clyde Christensen, any communication with him?
I'm not particularly sure. I mean, like I said, I've talked to probably over the majority of teams, and I know draft day will be crazy, and at the end of the day, I'll just be happy wherever I end up.
No worries. Best of luck in your career.
Thank you.
All right, Pranav.
Kyle, thanks for taking my question. So you went to the Senior Bowl and you worked with Matt Rule and the Carolina Panthers coaching staff. Can you talk about that? Can you talk about the experience?
So actually, I opted out of the Senior Bowl, and I didn't end up going because I had a high ankle sprain there at the end of the season. And I figured if I went to the Senior Bowl, that's a whole week of rehab I'd be missing. That's, my physical health was one of the main key factors for me that I was focusing on at the beginning of the offseason.
You played against SEC competition each and every week, obviously. So was that helpful for your preparation coming into today?
I mean, absolutely. Some of the biggest, fastest, strongest players come to the SEC, and you got to bring your A game, no matter who you're playing within the SEC division. So it really was, it helped, not just me, obviously, it helped the whole team that, you got to bring your A game every single week, because if you're not on it, you can always take a loss no matter who you're playing.
Thank you.
Let's go to Chrissy Freud.
Kyle, Chrissy Freud, USA Today Sports Media Group. Where do you specifically feel like you've improved the most this offseason? And what do you think that maybe you've shown that people don't appreciate enough about you as a player?
I think really just, being able to, I trimmed down about 15 pounds and really took control of, my physical health, and that led me to be a little more quicker on my feet. And I think I showed that today. I think I had solid, cone drills, and I was able to, show the coaches and the scouts that were out here during my throwing session that I can, make throws outside the pocket and have, bursts to escape the pocket and, still be able to throw an accurate ball.
Alex Kozora.
Hey, Kyle, Alex Kozora, Steelers Depot. Thanks for talking with us. I know you said you've spoken with a lot of teams already, but have you communicated with the Pittsburgh Steelers? And if so, who have you talked to?
Yeah, so I talked to them probably about a month or two ago. And, that's, they're one of the teams that have been in the majority for me. And I was able to, talk to, the head coach and a couple of their staff members. And, we had a really good talk. And like I said before, I mean, you never know what can happen draft day. And I've talked to multiple coaches, and I'll be happy wherever I end up.
Any specific feedback that Coach Tomlin gave you?
Yeah, and I mean, just to, nothing specific that I remember, but, something along the lines of, obviously draft day is crazy, and just, keep working hard.
Gotcha. Thank you, Kyle.
Let's go to Robert Street.
Hey, Kyle, congrats on going pro. What's your biggest strength and biggest weakness as you enter the draft, and what defensive player in the league are you looking forward to facing the most?
I think my biggest strength that I bring is probably my ball, ball placement and accuracy. I think that's something I show a lot on film, just being able to put it in spots where only my guys can catch it. Something that I've been working on a lot is my footwork, and it's something I think that I've tightened up a lot, just making sure that my body's always in the best position possible to deliver an accurate ball. And as far as people that I want to play against at the next level, I haven't really given that too much thought. Kind of given, just taking it one step at a time. I've always been, a huge like JJ Watt fan growing up, so that would be pretty sweet, if I ever get the opportunity to do that.
Thanks, man. Best of luck.
Thank you.
John Shearer.
Hey Kyle, how are you doing today?
Doing good.
So my question is, with all these other quarterbacks that are getting talked about, and you're not really getting talked about like they are, which I personally think is a travesty, but it's another story. Does this put a chip on your shoulder, not getting the recognition that you deserve? I mean, you had arguably the best season a Florida quarterback has ever had at a historic season. Nobody's really giving you the attention like they're Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence, and all of those guys. So does that put like an Aaron Rodgers type chip on your shoulder? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not too concerned about what other people are saying about me or who they're talking about in the media. It's really nothing new to me. If you go back in my story, obviously I wasn't, very highly recruited. I've never been the one to, really focus on other people's opinions. I just know I can control what I can control, and that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Let's go to Danilo.
Hey, Kyle, Danilo Lacari from Torcedores TV Brazil. How are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm fine, man. So your player has always found main receivers downfield, and many journalists see you as smart guy learning the playbook. But what do you think is your best quality, and which league player has inspired you the most during these years?
Yeah. Are you saying who is my favorite player to throw to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who inspired you the most?
Yeah, I mean, definitely you look at someone like Kyle Pitts is pretty much the easy answer for me. He can, run all the routes and be very explosive and, provide help in the run game as well. And, whatever team gets the chance to coach him and, play with him, they're going to be very lucky.
On NFL, which player has inspired you the most?
I would say growing up, I was a huge Peyton Manning fan. And just also, Tom Brady, his story is incredible, how he was, taken so late in the draft with all those quarterbacks taken in front of him. And, that kind of put a chip on his shoulder and just the things that he was able to do in the league. And, those two guys and what they were able to do and the Super Bowls they won, it's incredible.
Thank you.
Let's close with John Helmkamp.
Hey, Kyle, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Hey, thanks for taking the time with me. I appreciate it. I kind of want to expand upon that last question that you were given there regarding Kyle Pitts. What's it like throwing to him, and what kind of weapon do you think the teams are getting at the next level if they're able to bring him in?
I mean, just the first thing that comes to my mind is his ability to score in the red zone. I think he had I can't remember the exact number, but I know he had a crazy wingspan, and it really just shows, how much range he has truly when you're throwing him the ball. He's able to make a play on anything you throw him. And he's able to also, go up and get any ball when it's a 50-50 matchup. And, I just really think that he's going to excel at the next level, and, any team will be lucky to have him.
Appreciate the time. Good luck in the draft.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. You're good to go. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Yes, Paul. Just for everybody else still on, we will send out a copy of all of the interviews. So thank you, guys.